I can hear background stuff.
Here we go. We are live. Let's go ahead and hit the intro. All right, we are live. Let's get this rolling. So we can see that we'll just go ahead and maximize this. We had pretty much a big ol' nothing burger go on over Globex, right? We did peak up and really didn't peak down below. We never got back below the last or the settle from Friday. Off the open, we had a little tiny pop up and then that flush down. Didn't spend much time below that base of that spike, and now we're kind of above it. Back to that overnight point of control, looking to fill this lower distribution of singles here, about one tick away. Let me go ahead and jump this over so we can see. But you can see, and one thing I want to make sure that we realize here as E period opens, we still are one time framing up, right? Even though E did take that D low by one tick, we still have this distribution open. So until E really closes that distribution, I'm still going to consider this one time framing to the upside. One tick is not really enough to convince me that their sellers are confident. There's a couple of keys leading into today, right? As we look to close these lower distributions or hold them and move back up, we see how thin that volume is. A break of this really could flush and probably test back down towards the low of yesterday's range. Remember, we still are within Friday's level. Friday being an outside down move, right? There's the close of those distributions, but opened above Thursday, closed below, right? So a pretty big reversal, or a significant size reversal at least. But we're still within Friday's range. We had peaked up into the value area from Friday, spent a couple sessions up there, but D session pretty much opened up and started bidding straight down. So from here, we're basically back in a chop zone, right? It's kind of unfortunate timing, really. But we'll I'm not really looking for any longs until we get above this 35 and hold, which is the halfback from Friday. I think get some buyers that bought on Friday, or actually that sold, and then we can start targeting some of these mechanical highs, right? On up on two, okay. Making sure my TPOs are on two. So this is a pretty mechanical high, and then we have B, C, and D all very mechanical up there as well. So there's some opportunity on both sides. Um, One thing I do want to point out is on this day, we kind of saw something similar to what I'm expecting today. Is we had a bunch of poor references the day before, and then we cleaned them up towards the end of the day. Right, we had this poor low down here, another poor low here, clean them up at the end of the day. So it makes sense because um, we don't have any real news coming out or anything until Friday, right? So, or I mean, until Wednesday with our man Jay Powell. So, really we can kind of just expect some chop, expect some rotation, things like that as we head into the rest of the day. Morning, Patrick. Morning, Alex. Morning, Seb. I'm just gonna post the. I'm gonna post the YouTube and the this real quick. Really we can. Wish I could watch, but you're at work. Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, hopefully we can get you back in here. Have a good time at work. I know it's Monday, so it's probably a busy day going on. If you guys could do me a favor too, just go ahead to that like button and go ahead and smash that thing down real quick before we get started looking for this next trade. Um, if the crypto chemist is in here, he posted a chart the other day basically about the most social activity for some of the meme coins. And if you could post that, that'd be great. Post it real quick. Oh, and let me actually post the Zoom link in the Discord too, because I don't know if anybody understands that it's the same link. So boom, there we go. Oh, there we are. Hey man. Yes. I was off Twitter. Yeah, see if you can find it for me, bro. That'd be awesome. Because I think that could be a nice one if something starts to if someone's already, doing the tracking for us and they start tracking that, you could probably catch some nice moves off something like that. That's a good thing to have. Let's see. So for Bitcoin, right, we had talked about this, and this actually kind of happened on Sunday, yesterday when we were streaming. We talked about how basically the push down was just emotional news um, from England, or it might not have just been England, it might have been the UK, but they announced that they might ban some crypto and Ethereum networks, right, because they're trying to crack down on the whole Russia situation with news of some of these oligarchs trying to liquidate crypto positions in order to get some liquidity, some capital. Old Ahab, man, thank you. Yeah, it's nice to be back. um Gotta close Slack or else it's gonna keep points. um and so this is kind of what we said, let it chill, because it didn't break this low, and this low was an emotional low as well. And then it really just popped up from our hold entry back here, 39.11 or 39.136. We haven't I haven't moved that line just because it's acted as a magnet, and it just happens to be the center of balance, right? The center of this balance zone. So really just keep watching it. I do like how all of these, oh, let me pull my pen up. My pen. Um, I really do like how all of these stops are basically accumulating up here. We've seen this game before. What we can go ahead and do is actually we can just move this because these stops are gone. But we can basically see some stops accumulating in this zone up here, and if they keep accumulating, we've seen what happens when they have to get a little bit of release, right? And we can capitalize on some of these moves, which is kind of our goal here, right? So make some gains. The ES, there it goes. Like we talked about, if it got through this area here where the volume's real single, we could see a little, or real shallow, we could see a little bit of a spill. We're starting to get that now. The key here will be to focus on references on the way down, right? So a little bit so we can see it easier. We have yesterday's low. That's going to be the target, and look for it to either get accepted within the price spike, right, or get below and start to get accepted below. By it trading in the spike initially and then above, putting some volume above and then back in the spike, this could easily just be a pullback, kind of like how we had here, right? A pullback to retest to make sure that they still want to buy this level, right? If they don't agree on these prices down here, good chance of testing the low. It is weaker, I think, that we are testing in here. Trying to find this page that shows us the Fed funds future implied. The Atlanta Fed. Trying to find there's an actual bar chart of it. Let's pull it over on Thinkorswim. So here's Thinkorswim. You can see the tick distribution mostly in the lower half, right? We can see we are getting some decent selling coming down here, and we're spending a lot of time in the sell. You can see the breadth is pretty negative. But what is negative, right? Which is kind of leading me to think that this is more of just a pullback than anything, or just nice normal market rotation, is that the green part of our market, besides Apple, which is kind of the bear here, is the weighted sector, the bigger weighted sectors, right? Information technology, healthcare is really green today. And financials, so consumer discretionary is kind of going gray, but a lot of bigger weighted things are green. We want to go to ZQ. 30-day Fed fund. We want to look at J. There we go. Okay, so this is what I wanted to kind of show you guys. So look at these Fed funds rates and how they're going down, right? And typically, if these, I mean, not typically, but if these things continue to go down and the market doesn't at least, start to price that in, then after the Fed meeting, we actually might get some more downside. I know that if you guys have been following me for a while, I was expecting this downside until this time, March-ish, and I kind of expected a bounce from here. We haven't really got that bounce. It hasn't been the 15th yet or the 16th yet, which is we're kind of waiting for that Fed meeting. Any good news that comes out of that could really cause a bounce. One thing that I've had kind of on the back burner is this Fed funds rate and how it is just, pretty much every day trading negatively, and that's just kind of telling us how much liquidity they're going to be providing to the market, and if it's going down, it's going to be less and less, right? And that's just the simplistic terms that you can get. If you really want to dig into it, just type in Fed funds rate on Google, and it will give you some more opportunity to learn more about it. I'm not an expert with it. I just know kind of how to track it and how the market starts to price stuff like that in. If we take a peek at TNX, right? And if you guys remember last year when TNX was at like 1.75, and let me switch this thing to a daily so we can really take a peek at it. Last year, around July, it was at like 1.75, or was in March actually last year, and people were having a freak out about the market crashing and blah, 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 right? All this shit. Well, we're at 2.10, right? That's the highest it's been since COVID, since before COVID, because here's the COVID low, right? So just something to think about, right? Not trying to make you guys sell the farm just yet, but just understand like there's certain things like if they keep happening, it's not good for the economy, right? And then you start talking recession, things like that. My God, I'm in just the nastiest trade in the whole world. So I took 9 lots short at 42.35 order-ish. I've taken 4 off, and I'm up 160 on 5 lots left. I mean, this is just an. Times when you know, though. I don't know if there's news out. Let me see. Tesla's getting just absolutely hammered today, down 3%. Anyway, so back to this real quick. If this thing keeps rising, not going to be ideal for the market. So that E takes that B low. This is probably a decent spot to cover some of those shorts. Sorry guys, I'm trying to just edge risk. Okay. That elo is really just one tick below. So I would say or low here. Zoom this in. But yeah, so this is something to pay attention to. Let's take a peek at oil today. It's been coming down, which is good for the market. You saw it had this huge spike a couple of days ago. Remember, we're on the daily chart, but as of today, right, down a pretty significant amount. I mean, saying about 7%. I think Chris was saying about the same thing. So 7%. I just want to, I just like to double check trading view sometimes because I feel like sometimes it's confused on what's going on in reality. What else did I want to bring up? Oh, I wanted to bring up the VIX. So take a peek at the VIX 30.94. We did break the previous day's high, but we're still kind of hanging out in here. We talked about how this is just kind of an ugly balance. The VIX not breaking the high as it's breaking the low, that's what kind of leads me to believe that they're more soft landing to control it, Tommy. Yeah, you did. Trin, good morning. Double R. Alex, was it the same Alex? Yeah. I have to like we need to get like whatever our icons are in Discord in Zoom. That way I'll know for. But yeah, here we are. So an important thing here, like we talked about, right? Their target is going to be the low of that spike, and I said it's kind of weak that we're retesting the spike. I know a lot of people look at that kind of stuff as a, um, double bottoms are strong or shit like that. For me, I really don't. I don't think when I see something hit something twice, I'm like, oh, it's gonna break. Like, give it to me, right? Of course, it's a little bit different when we're trading futures because you don't always need uh 100 points or a big move to capitalize on the opportunity, but it can be okay. I just have one lot left, one runner left, looking for the Friday low here. So we're peaking back below the Globex low, right? Poor low, one tick. So that's kind of telling you that some of these buyers are trying to step up to catch some of this. Not really any good information except for that we're going to see some rotation today. That's it. Some chop, which we've seen if you guys have been watching all morning. It's been a real chop fest out there. That going. Russia's going to pay a euro dollar on Wednesday. Another thing too, that I think for me I kind of downplayed was the whole Russia situation that's going on as far as how much it was going to have an effect on the market. But obviously it's kind of forced its way to the front of the line and really been on the mind of everybody in the market, and we can tell obviously because of how emotional the market's been lately. So that's another thing that we need to make sure that we're considering when we bring our trade plan up. LUP, good morning. Another thing that we need to make sure that we're including into our trade plan, because if we're not, then you're pretty much trying to trade in a bubble, and it's just not going to work, right? So you could have this perfect trading strategy that trades amazingly, but the news can completely ruin it. And the psych that ties into the psychology of the overall market, which is kind of my main thing that I preach, is understanding who our competitors or fellow participants are, depending upon how you want to look at them, right? um, More beneficial, I think, to look at them as a competitor, because that's what they are. They're competing with you to make money, but the choice is really yours. So we're starting to get back into where the market closed on Friday, basically saying, okay, hey, what can I do here? What am I looking for? Our buyers going to step up again, because this was where the impulse was from last time, right? This A period came down, and if you guys watched, this thing recovered pretty well. B period opened up high. Um, Open up. Might change this because it's starting to annoy me sometimes that I can't see the. We can just highlight them. Study. Very confusing now, but um, I just wanted to see where this B open was at. So 4207 was actually where that B open was at. I think I might leave it. We'll leave it for the day and see how we. Um, but yeah, so B opened up here, came down, really just got bought off, right? Weak low, and then just started one time framing up from there. And then D period kind of did the same thing. D period clicked up and then came down. We were patient right here, waited for it to break, right? And if you were patient, you waited for it to break, saw that it held, got short, target that weak low, and then now we're looking for continuation from value building lower. One thing we will look at, especially now that we can see the value areas, we're gonna have to. Let's do. Okay. Uh, Green and blue is the Globex. Green and light blue is. But let's reset all of these to the default display style. I want you guys to kind of look at this. Even though we are forming lower, pay attention to where this value is actually at, right? So we're still, this is our balance zone, right? We're in this, we talked about this 3-day balance. Well, here we looked below that 3-day balance. We've got, you know, 6-ish TPOs, depending upon how it squeaks out below that previous day low, and now we're back in here. And if you look at value, right, all of these, I'll just draw them all out. Here's what we can do. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, that was the whiteboard. Um, we'll just draw them out for the 3 days in different colors, so you can really see how overlapping most of this volume is. Right? And so right now, we're below that. And if we keep spending more time down here, the odds become better that we're gonna break down. But what I'm trying to get at here is basically both sides of the sword. I just don't want anyone getting too bearish, and then all of a sudden they they're like, oh, we're gonna go down, and there's good odds that we do go down, but it's a matter of timing, right? Timing. What do they say? Precision beats power, and timing beats speed. Conor McGregor. I don't know if he was the first one to say it. That's just where I heard it. So, but somebody definitely said it. Bitcoin going to zero. What's that guy's name? That Charlie Munger or whatever the fuck his name is. Don't really want to be right too early. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the thing, and that's the worst for your psychology is sometimes you're right and wrong at the same time. You know what I mean? I call that being wrong. Yeah, yeah, that's wrong. You're right. Hey, you right? That's the best way to look at it, honestly. Um, is that you were just, and that's a common trap that a lot of people get trapped in, Alex. Too. Actually, that's a good point. That a lot of people will. Why the fuck is the chat doesn't work on the stream? But a lot of people will, be like, ah, I fucking knew it when they, got stopped out on their trade or whatever it is, and they're like, "Ah, I knew it, I knew it." But in reality, they didn't know it. They might have thought they knew it, but saying something's gonna go up and checking back 10 days later, then it being up and you telling yourself you were right, and then actually trading that thing that's up 10 days later are two completely different stories. We are seeing a lot of trades hit the bid or hit the ask here, down at these lows. So, it'll be interesting to see if that A low breaks. We do have, good excess down there. Let me look at the upside, decent excess on the top as well. So, really, as long as we're still inside yesterday's or Friday's range, we can pretty much just expect rotation. And, got this big Globex point of control that's kind of gravitating us towards the center. I might actually get rid of the line value area line. What do you guys think? Do you guys like this profile better or the America one? I mean, I personally like the America one, but sometimes it's nice to be able to see where the bar opens. Oh, it getting overpowered by software. Also, for my people that are out there trading futures, I think there's going to be some good opportunity on Wednesday, not only to trade the ES futures, but also some opportunity to trade the um, oil futures as well. So if some of you guys are looking to try some trend trading out, we can see, you know, EL's been pretty trendy as of late, right? We had this big down move, then pretty much trended up, trended down, and we're talking. I mean, it's $10 per tick per penny. Um, so I mean, you can see how that could add up. Or you could trade the micro futures oil, and it's $1 per tick. So still a good opportunity to make some money, right? 110 to 101. You math, right? A lot. Um, but yeah, so I mean, there's some opportunity here in oil, especially with the oil report in the OPEC meeting on Wednesday. To, I mean, really either get some continuation or a nice bounce. But what I'm looking for on oil is this kind of this retest of this 108. See, we're in balance. It's pretty wide ranges on oil. It's kind of crazy, but this retest, this 106, 108, a rejection there, and then that push down to the low side, right? If the market keeps going down, I doubt oil is gonna start to flush. It'll probably just start to hang out. Get wrecked. Hey, hey, what's up, bro? Fine. Beings. Oh, not showing. Oh, there we go. Best followers, prime viewers, mountainviewers.com. JPA Michael on Twitch, spamming us for some paid followers. The flush on ETH was a little bit stronger yesterday. It felt like, at least. I mean, the recovery was nice too, but that flush felt a little bit stronger. Like a lot more people got scared. Here we go. Here's this F session opening up. It came right to that Globex low and sold off. So you should be tracking that as a weak low, right? Weak reference. And a lot of the opportunity, guys, right, is identifying some of these weak references and then understanding, like, when we get up here, let's say when we get above it, if no volume comes in above it, it might be an opportunity to fade, right? And your backstop being that open, expecting some mechanical selling to come in off of that open, and ride with those mechanical sellers, right? There's nothing wrong with being a short-term or a short-term trader, right? To be in and out of the market quick, less than an hour, uh, less than a minute even sometimes, with the way the futures have been moving, there's been plenty of opportunity. But your Twitch has the wrong domain name. It should be twitch.tv instead of twitch.com. Oh, is that underneath of the oh, okay, I see. Yeah, I'll fix that. Thank you. I'm still trying to learn all that stuff. That normally all of the stuff that you see that involves words is James do. Uh, so look, we traded back up there to that 41.98, but didn't break it. Now let's look to see if we can push this low. We've got the settle below and then that spike low. If we start to get below that, we could really start to spill below that spike, the prior day low. But just remember that F high is, kind of a mechanical high. So it's just something that you want to mark on your chart. Something that, for me personally, I mark and carry forward. Okay, Teach, nice. Yeah, yeah. If you guys want to switch over to Twitch, there's a lower delay. I've tried to get the YouTube delay as short as possible, but it just depends how your video loads, really. Because sometimes on my phone, if I have it on, I'll see it'll be instant, and then I'll pull it up on my computer that I'm literally streaming from, and I can see the chat coming in on a Google Chrome page faster than I can actually see it in Streamlabs. Look at that, right to the settle. Now we have a mechanical high on F and a mechanical low on F. Look at the volume today too. Let me pull this up, guys. Ooh, air launch cruise missile strike hit Training center, U.S. defense official says strikes launched from Russian airspace. Training center? They hit a U.S. training center? Another thing that we want to definitely be paying attention to, guys, is um, how much of a stand the U.S. is basically saying, right? There's the break of the settle, so we break that mechanical low. Next target's going to be the spike low, which is the prior day low, and then that A low. So look at the volume here. We can see the increase, right? 12%, just about. We started off with about 21% increase. Now we're up about 12% on the increase. If you're looking for these numbers, just go to the JimDaltonTrading.com and click on resources, go down to NYSE volume. He has them posted there every day. Jim's. Uh, oh, they today at my kids' school they finally announced that masks are not required anymore in school. But look at the volume coming in down here. Pretty weak, if you ask me. I'm looking at the H contract. So there's still some people trading the H contract, right? A lot of people are probably in the H contract and having to get their positions out, trying to cash out. So of course it makes sense, but the volume on the ESM is a lot higher still. We're still looking good there. Value's still higher. Right? We have the point of control still up here. So remember how we talked about today, we kind of expect, unless we really start to build value below that prior day low, I mean, even as we start to build value in the spike, I do expect more of a bleed out to the low side. But, you can see how much time got spent up here, kind of a failure of acceptance, and is now searching for value lower, right? But remember our basics, we have excess on the low, and as far as excess goes, we consider excess to be support until it's not, right? So we don't want to just be like, fuck, we're low, we're gonna sell because we're gonna take the low. Remember, that's trading price, and that's not what we do. We're looking to track value, and value so far is pretty much unchanged as far as the rest of that week goes. Right now, we can see value a little bit easier, but you can see value pretty much been overlapping this whole time back and forth. Potential spam call from Hicksville, New York. Anyone ever heard of that place?
Nah, but he definitely has an Indian accent and wants to take your money and tells you you owe the IRS.
Good looking. Let's take a look at the overall crypto market real quick. Let me zoom this. Um, as far as the day goes so far, we can see Sol has actually, been challenging Luna for that number one spot. My boy BNB is kind of bringing up the rear here, trailing it out. Mechanical low right to the prior day low. We see that, right? So buying off the prior day low. That's why I said it's just it feels like a bleed out, right? It feels like value wants to go down, but it just, it's failing to actually go down there. If we get below this A low though, we should see some movement to the downside. Mainly being probably to that 41.73, and then I mean, honestly, that gap, that 41, what do we say, 40.37 down here, where I'm looking at. We bought some puts morning, kind of preparing for that. So some SPY puts. You can see in the S&P 500 sectors, we kind of see that on Thinkorswim, so nothing really. Same emotion. The scam coin CRO, that's what Alex calls it. I believe in it. CRO is going to go to $5. There goes the low, right? Mechanical buying off the low. Watch the volume here. That's what our eyes are on. Once we break the low or get close to it, right? This is a poor low. We're really watching that volume. So that 100 contracts had already traded down there, and they haven't traded any more contracts yet. So that's what our eyes are on. If you guys are watching the DOM or watching any resting orders, you'll see that we kind of have that same thing that we had Friday, with an order about 3 points above and 3 points below a fairly decent size order, 290 up here, 270 up here, kind of just messing around with price, right? Staying right there, kind of easing the market a little bit, which is interesting. I mean, even if this thing goes to 101, I'd like to see something like that. Germany plans to buy 35 F-35 stealth fighters. 35 F-35 stealth fighters. I thought I said that wrong, but that's actually what it says. Interesting down here. They're having a tough time selling it down. I mean, and they're trying. They're trying their hearts. But look, they didn't trade that 100. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to get short right here. I really do. But I want to see them commit. And as of right now, it looks like someone's trying to probably cover everything they can down here at this low price before we break the low. It does look like it's going to break, to be honest. I think the stream is on Facebook as well. I don't know how, if it's delayed or not. I'm gonna look at it right now. So we're seeing some volume come down here, right? But we didn't trade that low yet. That's really what I want to see here, is that I want to see us trade that low. Just basically by us trading that low, it just kind of shows you that they are interested in a lower price. There we go. So now that we've broken, we have to monitor for continuation here. Look for that pullback to hold the impulse. Holding it so far. Looking for some volume to come in lower. Only 24 contracts traded on the low there. We're starting to see some good volume form down here. That's telling us volume's moving down. Look, volume chunk, volume chunk, volume chunk. Starting to get a little volume down here. See if we can hold below this spike and then look for this short here. Not really a ton of volume up there at that high. I pulled back, so looks like they want a little bit lower. Seeing a little bit of a pullback in Bitcoin right now as well. Watch the 24. Okay, so it's trading. We're interested. There we go. All right, nice 4-lot short right there. I got short at 85, 75, 86, 86.50, and 86.50. Taking some off the table right there. At 18's got me a little nervous here. Seeing kind of how it's getting snatched up, but the thing that kind of is interesting, I mean, I'll probably trade back to this 501. That seems pretty thin. Here we go. Fill that little backfill here, and then 18 on the low just kind of dies off, right? But there's a lot of volume down here, and typically volume is telling us that there is some interest. And if there's some interest, we tend to trade back to those spots, right? So I just have the 1 lot left. My stop loss is on the 88.75 on that spike. So if we get back above that, then I'll take a loss on one of the lots. But if not, I'm gonna let this last one try to run it out. Maybe add another pullback if we get an opportunity. Not really getting a ton of support as far as the overall market goes. You're not seeing as much selling as we would like to really kind of flush this low here. I might just click the flat. Actually, I'll just stick with the plan, right? If it loses one, we'll let it run. Let it go. Let it go. Target down would be like 69.50. That's the next like high volume nodule that we have down there. And then probably like the 41.50. Yeah, buying looks pretty weak here. I mean, there's some people that just can't let it go. But you have to remember who we're competing against, right? We're competing against people that are attracted to price or trade based off of price. And so what they're seeing is a discount here. The market was up 1% today, and now it's down, a little over 0.1%. And people are saying, well, if it was up 1% and now it's down, I can buy it for cheap and take it back up. So it's a little bit of psychological buying down here at the low. It looks like I'll have to get stopped. Yeah, so I flattened that position. Not bad. Ended up being basically a wash on 1 lot, but 3 lots for 3 points each. Always confused by what, Alex? So that's what it means to trade price. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what everyone's talking about when they say people trade price, is that they're looking at price as like a discount. Like, oh, if this price is up, oh, it's up 10%, I'll buy it because it's gonna keep going up. Or oh, it's down 10%, it's gonna go up. I'll buy it, right? You got to think about the retail crowd for the most part only buys stuff, right? And so they either buy stuff when it's down because it's on sale, or they buy stuff when it's up because of momentum, right? typically they're not really buying anything, you know, but that's not doing it. If something's just kind of hanging out, not really doing anything, it's not really getting any news, they're not really too interested in something like that. They want to see some gains, you know what I mean? Everyone's almost addicted to 100%, 200%, 1000% gains because of COVID and all the volatility that it's brought in and all the new participants that it's brought in, that when they get a 25% gain, you know, they're like, ah, it's not enough. I need to keep this going. And it gets a lot of people in a lot of trouble. You know, it really does. It's kind of bad. Oh, here we go. Well, it's pretty, the delay is pretty close on Facebook, and it actually translates everything, or puts closed captions on everything. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I'll have to fix that. Oh, I see. The comments just disappear after a while. That's what happens. Not that I'm not here. Back below the previous day low. And look at the volume coming in here, right? This is, like I said, it's just kind of a slow bleed out. We saw a bunch of people that were like, I'm going to buy it because it's on sale. It pops back up, and then here we go, right back to where we were at. So there is more opportunity down here as far as if you're a little bit late, might be. I think these buyers might try to push this thing back up towards that open if they get a chance, just because of how mechanical this high is. So not really that they're going to, just something to be cautious of if you're looking to get into a short down here. That's going to be a spot that they're going to target. Trading really good on the sim. Need to get the courage to trade real money. Yeah. You know, the cool thing about the futures too is the micros can really ease you into the water, give you more of a beach entry than, you know, jumping in the deep end. You can start with 1 micro and then, you know, switch up 2 micros, 3, 4. And then once you're at 5 micros, once you're above 5 micros, you know, it might be time to jump up to the ES, because then the fees start, you know, almost making it not worth it. But, you know, don't let anyone out there tell you that you can't make money trading the micros. That's just absolute BS, right? My dad funded, like, you know, got his funded account, trading his funded account. He's doing it on the micros and killing it every single day, over $100, pretty much every single day. Um, you know, so, and that's just the starting point. You know, he hasn't been doing this. He hasn't been doing this for what shit. My dad's been doing this for 2 months, maybe 3 months, maybe max. I can't remember. Not very long. Um, but he's been putting in a lot of time. And that's the thing. Like, I mean, you know, it really just does take the time. I mean, look at Alex or Leatherface Crypto on there on the Discord. You know, he put in the time and has been killing it. Really. He was on trading on the sim a long time before then, right? My dad, no, no, not my dad. No, Jared, my buddy Jared had traded with us a while back, but then he got called back into work, and so he took a bunch of time off, and now he's just getting back on. He's been doing well as well, but um, that might be who you're thinking of. My dad just barely started. So you can see the buyers here, you know, they're looking, and I really think that's where their target is. Their target is just to break that mechanical reference. Um, what I'm looking for here is a little bit of weakness on this way up, and if they're not able to really get some short covering going and push it back towards the point of control or the half back of the day, then we might be on for another downside leg down to that probably 41.6950, where I imagine the target would. Since November, my dad said. So, what's that, like 4 months? Definitely thousands of hours over the past. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Is like you've just been putting in the fucking work. You know what I mean? Like, and it's honestly just what it takes. And then and the worst part is you can put in all that work and then still not be able to execute. So it's like you put in all this work learning what to do, and then the application portion comes in. You know, that's why I recommend watching the charts for the first 3 months. I think I've been telling you guys that since the beginning, is that when I'm training somebody new, like if they're committing to me and I'm going to commit to them to train them, they're not even allowed to think about placing a trade for 30 days minimum until they start seeing the chart the way that I'm seeing the chart, and understanding the moves that I'm looking for. Then they can get on the sim. Then after, you know, a month of doing that successfully, maybe jump up to the micros, right? But I really do think it takes that time, and these are two different skills that require uh, what would be the word, congruency with each other to, you know, achieve the goal here, which is to get your time to value. So starting to see that sell off right there is from the settle. It feels real mechanical, so just be careful with the short here. That sell off seems really mechanical to me. Careful with that. But you know, it's almost like two different skills that if they don't work in conjunction with each other, you can't be successful. So you need to master the one and then move to the next. If you just start off thinking that you know what you're doing, and then boom, you jump on the sim and you start nailing the sim, and then all of a sudden you jump to real money and then get fucked up. Well, that's because the emotional part you haven't mastered yet, right? Uh, and and a way to master those emotions is to get comfortable with the market before you start swimming off into the deep water, right? Wade into the pool by watching the market, drawing some zones, managing some levels, making a plan, you know, building a routine, things like this. And then you start to add on these other skills about execution, right? And on the sim, you have to understand this is where your goal is to practice. And then when you move on to the real money, that's where the execution is going to come in. And if that's where your trouble is executing, at least you can identify that's where your issue is, and now you know how to, you know, um, basically mold your trading self into the style that's going to be successful. A lot of moving parts. You know, I think one thing that I really kind of took away from trading, just, you know, me, I guess, just naturally understanding the market, um because, you know, most of it's math. It's not an exact math, but there is a lot of math um involved, kind of like a geometric shape, pattern recognition, volume math. Yeah, the market does get confused about now, but I think I took it for granted as far as, you know, just having that natural talent, kind of expecting everybody to have the grind that I have, I guess. And it is kind of far and few between. I don't know how to say that. You guys know that analogy though, far and few between. But I mean, it makes sense to me that my dad is picking it up so fast. One, because he has no prior experience, so he's literally just listening to me. So he doesn't have a disadvantage like a lot of us that came from a technical trading background, or a, you know, Fibonacci trading background, or things of this nature, where you have to almost retrain your brain to understand the value carries so much weight in the way that the market moves. seeing buyers prop this thing up on the 90 here, which is half back. So it's real mechanical back and forth here from the 90 to that settle at 92.50, 93. It's real mechanical back and forth in between here. This is a spot where I would just say don't look to get in a trade. Either wait for it to come up and get rejected off that 96 up there. Possible look for a short. If they cover that thing all the way up, they'll probably cover it back above or back to the open to look to test the strength of these sellers on the open. Does kind of look like they want to break this high right here, though. It looks real mechanical. And then to the low, right? If they do end up getting the supply to break that low, that 69.50 is going to be a target on the downside. So there goes the high. It just looks so mechanical there. So look for them to bring it up to that 96. If it gets rejected off the last, there might be some opportunity there. Remember that F high is still very mechanical. No follow through there. See that? So they just break the settle, go up a couple ticks, right back to the settle. That's how you know it's mechanical traders. And all they did was just run the stops there. Kind of the ugliest shit I've ever seen in my life, too. It was pathetic. No follow through. Where is your dad trading the micros? Oh, he's trading NinjaTrader. Yeah, so he had an Apex account and like it's funded, and then he just trades on Apex on the NinjaTrader. He's his son's father. Well, yeah, Haven genetics tend to make you want to be good at stuff, and so like I said, like there's not many things that I don't know how to do. I've kind of tried everything when it comes to things that you can compete at. So here they go, covering up to that 96. Look for the rejection here off the 96. If not, they could get a lot of short covering up here all the way up to that open at the 03. Not really seeing a ton of support from the overall market, though. Nasdaq looks. And you can see a lot of the buying here is that's bad. It's just short covering, really. That's all it is. They're just doing a little bit of backfilling and covering shorts. And we could see value areas getting ready to shift lower here. We've got 4 TPOs here. When this F high gets taken, we'll have 6 or 5. That point of control will shift lower if that takes that or if this next session opens up down here, it could definitely.
What do you think, Brad, about shorting off the 96?
Well, I mean that first opportunity, that was a good short. It got really weak. Didn't actually make it up to the 96, but it was a good spot. I still think that they're supporting it down here on the 90. So there's really 2 opportunities here. Long off this 92, which was resistance, and target the 96 and above, or I don't think I would look to short the 96. If you were going to look, I'd look for that open. Look for it to fail to take the open. It's just such a weird spot right here being inside that spike. And that's twice we've looked below the spike and came back into the spike, which is kind of telling us that prices down there might be done getting traded. Sometimes inventory has to just correct when it gets a little bit too overzealous. This G low is weak, though, as well. It could easily break the 90 and flush down. Next support would be like below that. Below that would be below the low of the day. But if they come back up towards that 96, I think that's a weak reference as well. And I think we'll probably pop up up higher than that. And with the F high being a weak reference here, I think a short from this area would probably be a safer bet. But there might be some momentum opportunity. So look, they hold that 90 again. This is where they've been holding. Need to see some volume come in. Really thin right there. It's not. They're not really accepting any price or anything down here, or looking like they're gonna back up above that 90. At least in my opinion. Can't read the future. Hard as I try. Yeah, so you can get full access to Apex. Oh, Each, my bad. How much fees per contracts? It's a fixed amount on the futures. So on futures, I'm paying. Well, actually, I'm paying like $1.22 round turn, but typically it's a it's no more than $5. It's nothing like on Bybit, where you get absolutely wrecked. But actually, Alex gave us a code to Friday, I think it was, or Thursday, one of the days, and we got uh, lower fees, which was dope, through one of the discords that he's in. Won't say the name because trouble for sharing it. So there goes that low. You see them kind of flush it. We were worried about support was at 86, right to it. Class below. Yeah, see, this is just the chop zone. This is what I'm saying. This is fourth. You really want to just wait to see it break one of these levels to get support. Unity, but it's kind of, the market's kind of setting up for both here. Until this G session really breaks the F high or the F low, we're kind of stuck inside here, right? Really, really choppy. Volume is 13% higher. Nuke, come on. There it goes, rips back up. Go back to this 90 level. It's where they bought it before. They buy it again. And this is how this market's been lately. We saw, and if I just draw this G period, in the past couple of sessions, it's been kind of like this. How the market's been trading lately. You know what I mean? It's been like in a range, nice balance, some bars going here, and then all of a sudden it'll just be like boom, eat a bunch of stops, and then use that as the wind in the sails to take the boat across the ocean. Each, what are you talking about? Nuke news or something? On Twitter right now, I don't see. 27 points so far? Hell yeah, I guess so. Talking about.
Gaining some momentum.
Yep. Like buyers are trying it here. They're just having a tough time actually getting any momentum, because I think a lot of people are just afraid to buy it, right? And we're seeing value shift lower. So, honestly, a better trade would probably be just to sit and be more patient and kind of wait for it to come up if it's going to come up. If it doesn't come up, then we will have our answer. But it's might be better to just be patient, wait for here, and look for a short up here if we start to see some selling. But I mean, there's opportunity on both sides, really. It just depends how fast you are. Yeah, I'm like Doc Holliday, so fastest gun in the West. Yeah, that's a good idea, Alex. Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with sizing up on the trades you're more confident about. You know what I mean? Go back to that 90 here. Look at him just grinding this 90 down. They're like, where are you guys at? All you buyers are right here. All right, I'll take everything you got. Get the volume for me down here. We've got, what do we got? 10 minutes, about 9 minutes actually until the next. To me, that looks like a lot of absorption right there. Like these buyers just kind of ran it through like it wasn't even a big issue. Go trying to take the top. Like I said, look for them to break that 96.75, and the steam is gonna try to take it to the open at 203. If they're not able to get up there, that might be a decent chance for the fade. Good opportunity here to take a peek at the tick to see if you get some follow through up here, and it does look like we are seeing some decent buying coming. See if they've got the gas here to take this 96.75. Just selling off the last. That's all that is. All right, mechanical selling off the last. No follow through there. Not yet. See if they get buying off the settle. Dude, just pathetic. The buyers are eating their steak lobster. Sometimes you just know what it's going to do. Sometimes it does feel like that, definitely. Sometimes it just feels like, you know, that you got it. Oh, Bradley, the kid, the fastest gun in the West. That's funny. Oh, is today National Pie Day? Oh, 314, yeah. So look, now we have two mechanical references to the upside. We saw this on Friday, right? Just because they're there doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be able to take them. It just means that they're there, right? It's just information, market generated information that we have to carry forward. But look at the tempo. One thing I want to mention is look at the tempo on the downside here. Really, we haven't started picking up any tempo. Um, really, we haven't started picking up any tempo on the downside until we break the lows, right? The tempo on the downside during D period was nice, but then when E and F came in, it was kind of just dragging. F finally broke the low, didn't do much. G's getting close to the low now. Um, but not really much tempo on this way down here. All the moves that we've got have been kind of responsive or faster moves, and then retrace, which is indicative of short covering. Buyers are trying to catch here.
Buyers are about to catch these hands.
You're just seeing a lot of trades. There they go. You just saw a lot of orders trade on the bid right there, or on the ask right there, and what that's normally just kind of telling me that shorts are getting ready to cover here. But if we break the low, we should get some more. So we should get some sell stops actually below here. Drag us a little lower. Remember, target down 41.90, 41.69.50. That's my target down. So we got one or two ticks of excess here. There we go. New bar, not for 8 minutes still. High is precisely 314. Shaquille O'Neal's birthday's on the 16th. And I gotta help build a trap this week for St. Patrick's Day because my son said that he wants to catch a leprechaun, tape him to the wall upside down so he can steal his gold. I said, well, if he's intruding in your house, then you have every right. So welcome to America, mother. Oh, did she? Was it dope? Shaq's awesome, man. He's like, I mean, pretty down to earth, and he honestly like doesn't give a fuck about being famous. As far as like, if you ever see him out on the street and you can just say what's up to him, and he's not a douche. Some people, you know, some famous people are douche. Like Dana White. I met him in real life and he was a fucking douche. Good luck scamming a leprechaun. I know, the masters of scams. So here we go. We've got 3 periods down here now. Below yesterday's low. Not great for people that thought that this was just a dip. You had a calendar yearly reminder that says crypto market crash possible. That is interesting. That'd be hilarious. Fucking get in a short on Bitcoin real quick for it. Dips down. You know what's funny is like random people, if I, you know, confess actually what I do to them, they'll start asking me like all these questions. Like someone was yesterday just asking me like if they should buy a bunch of Bitcoin. Well, it depends on how much money you have first, because it's expensive. Second, I don't know if now's just the time to close your eyes and buy Bitcoin. And then they started talking to me about how the Russia shortage and all of these, you know how people are. I guess it always crashes on Pi Day. It's like a moon cycle. Sounds like somebody was using fib time. Oh, is that is it on is today one of those fib time extension days? How do you get verified on Twitter? You have to have a certain number of followers. Some huge amount. So the fib time extensions, the way that they work is their time zone. Okay, yeah. So the way that it works, right, is you take a swing position, like swing low, right, to the swing high, you know, and basically saying on, so we came up, there's the swing high on this day, we should hit a swing low, right, and they basically just kind of go. There we go. There's the break for that 69, my friend. Going, keep going. 69's lower. You gotta get some more follow through. So look, I'm just looking for that 69.50. If we get down to that, that'll be my day for there. I'll just probably wrap it up from. Any questions before we get ready to shut down the stream? Not sure even how many people are still here. But yeah, that's, I mean, that's pretty much how he said. There we go, new kid. Yeah, yeah, we've got some opportunity to. But yeah, that's basically how they work. As far as if they work, I don't know. I wouldn't use a fib. I mean, it really just depends on your trading strategy, but I wouldn't use a fib. I do like fibs on the daily, but it's mainly just so I can measure retracement on. So like if we had, let's say this was a daily chart, I'd like to look at the fib to see like, okay, the breakdown was here, came to here. What part did we retrace down to? So like, let's say this thing back up 100, right? I mean, this one's clear as day, but come on, get down there and that. A little bit of absorption down here on the low. Yeah, the 618 and the 66. Yeah, and it's all really just depending upon people's style. Um, if it works for you, then I say use it. I think that understanding value would help anybody in whatever trading strategy they decide to employ on their journey to success. It'd be easier to learn the TPO first before you start putting everything in. Not easier, but more beneficial as far as fluctuation of bank account go. On my retracements, I'm not using a fib number, just a percentage. Oh yeah, yeah. That's what I like to see. The percentage. All right, LEP. See you later, bro. Good to see you again. Yeah, that's what I like. I like to see. That's why you have that 44% retracement. I really like that. I'm gonna really start using. And it's nice too because I do like the front run stuff. And so 44, everyone's like waiting for the 50. Boom, you got paid at 44. And then it gets to fucking 49 and then hits the bed and you're like, ha, I already got paid. So as we start to spend more time down here, I know I sound like a broken record. You can see the volume came in. That's leading me to believe that they want to get down there and trade that some more. If we look at the top, right? I mean, you can see, even though this was early on, there's two sessions here. There's no volume up there, right? This volume came in on that D flush, which was probably liquidation, right? Bunch of long people that were long taking profit here, which is what caused that volume. Spent a little bit of time here, trapped a bunch of longs, flushed it back down here. More accumulation down here. This time we're leaving some weak references, which is kind of telling us that maybe the selling is a little bit more emotional, not just strength. And we're starting to get very thin down here towards this low, right? Probably gonna have to put this way on. If we get above that 80 quarter, back to that same here, this 190 in volume, they'll probably testing back here to 82 and then hold another weak spot up here in this 86 just during this bar. This is just a bar over here. 191 is session 8 minutes. Little peek at the overall market. We can see information technology turn red. Big leader. I've been talking about this. Apple, right? At 200 moving averages. Well, let's just pull it up. This is the weighted AD code, just so you guys know. But uh, you can see how Apple did today, right? A gap down below the 200 and getting some capitulation here, right? So, this is just not good for them, right? We're seeing big names. I'm sure this is hurting Jared's stomach looking at Tesla underneath 700. He's been talking about it for a while. I think it's coming down to 643.94. That's where I'll look to buy Tesla if if the fortune changes within the market and stuff. Kind of signals it might support Russia with its military. Yeah. I mean, that's why I think this is emotional, because you can see just how thin. But I mean, it's getting some volume down here. A lot of people piling in. But this is something to watch here. Even though oil, is down 6%, it's actually been going up. And then take a peek at the VIX. Fast. The VIX starting to really gain some steam on the upside. And then we talked about before, these Fed funds rates. The chart really doesn't matter. It just matters, where it's going, and you can kind of see just going down, right? Got 01, 02, 03. This is just the forward contracts, like the forward months. Yeah, as we scroll down, you don't really see any positive till 2024. So everyone is pricing in rate hikes until 2020, basically. We're not going to get any support. All right, Alex, we'll check you later, bro. All right, Adam, we'll see you later. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. Pretty good day. Also, would you benefit more large closing or shorts opening? You would never know. There's no way to know for sure. A lot of people make money selling order flow data to give retail traders the illusion that they can know and that it's beneficial for them. But that's mainly why I'm just tracking total volume, bid ask volume. Sometimes it's nice to see where it trades on it, but not as important as, and not as leading as you would think either. But yep, other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. We'll be back at it tomorrow at 8:30 Pacific time again. Interesting week. We're going to have a lot of action this week, I think, with the Fed meeting and everything else going on this week. So, jump in, stay tuned, and that dinging noise is not just smacking your guy. Yeah, jump in, come hang out, learn, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.